Welcome to another episode of the Tech Banter. My name is Ankur. I'm a tech professional working at a startup and I'm based out of Seattle.
Hello everyone, I'm Vishal and I'm a software engineer in one of the big tech companies and I'm also based in Seattle. So Ankur, what is the topic for today?
Today we thought we'll do something different and interesting. We are not talking about one company or one specific career related topic. We are actually going to talk about 10 different tech companies. And last week we were discussing what should be our next topic for the podcast. And we came up with the idea of finding out what are the next set of companies that has the potential to become big tech or almost close to big tech, right? So today we have the Fang or Mang, whatever you want to call it, Facebook or Meta, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Google, Netflix, this type of companies. But what would be the companies that would be the Fangs after 5 to 10 years? So we wanted to do that exercise, and Vishal, you have come up with 5 to 6 companies that you believe have the potential of becoming the next big tech in the next 5 to 10 years. And I have also done a similar exercise. I have about 5 companies that I think has a similar potential. And the interesting thing is, I don't know what you have selected. I'll know about it for the first time on the podcast live, like all of our listeners. And similarly, you don't know what I have selected. So it will be a surprise for both of us. This is on the tech sector, so we deliberately only selected companies that are into a technology space. Yeah, do you want to add anything else, Vishal?
Cool. I think this is going to be a very interesting topic, right? There is a lot of interest around which company is the next big thing, right? And by the way, all these companies that we have selected are publicly traded companies, right? It's a very important disclaimer that we want to bring in that we are not financial advisors or professionals in stock trading. So this
Yeah.
is just our view. No way this is a guidance for you to either pick that stock or try to trade in that or try to make money in that.
Okay.
Ankur, before we go into the serious topic of stock discussions, I think as per our tradition, right? What are you having today? What is your drink?
Yeah, I think I just got a canned cocktail. I think it's called tequila margarita, lime based tequila margarita. So I'm just
Nice.
having that. How
Cool.
about
That's
you?
So today I did a little different. I am having this red wine.
Nice.
Um, we went to Walla Walla. This is in Eastern Washington, uh,
Right.
around 5 to 6 weeks back, and we got a couple of bottles from there. And I thought, yeah, it will be awesome to have this on the podcast, right? Cheers, Ankur.
Cheers.
Do you want to give me a small, brief intro about your picks? Like, what was your thought process when you were picking all these stocks?
My thought process was I wanted to make sure that the companies that I pick are at least 10 billion in current market cap, right? And I wanted to make sure that at least some of the companies that I pick has the potential to become more than $1 trillion market cap company in 5 to 10 years. Also, my thought process was like, what are the areas or sectors which are going to have a lot of focus in the next 10 years, so that whichever company I pick can kind of benefit from all the progress that's going to happen in those areas, right? Yeah, that was basically my thought process. I don't follow stock market on a very regular basis. I just wanted to focus on fundamentals, right? So I was not really looking at, okay, what's going to be the outcome over the next quarter or even the next year, but like over, I was really taking a long term view over 10 years, which company can grow significantly, even though they might have some headwinds right now, right? So fundamentals for me was super important. So things like, have they executed well in the past? what kind of leadership do they have, what type of founders do they have, do they have a good track record in the market, are there any kind of controversies that the company has been in the past, ethically is the company good, right? So all those things I kind of took into consideration. I started with an initial filter of about 10 companies, and I kind of dive deep into 10 of those, and then slowly I started filtering companies out if I didn't get excited about a certain area, and then I was finally left with 5 companies which I feel pretty strongly about, that they have a very good future uh, in front of them. So it was a great exercise actually, even for me. Like, couple of these companies had heard about them, but I didn't know a lot about them, right? So in the process of researching for this podcast, I came to know a lot about them, and I'm glad that I actually kind of selected those and went into like the rabbit hole of understanding how they operate, their history, etc. How about
Nice.
you?
If you see the history, basically all the companies which became 10x, right? They were basically following a trend. So if you see Google, Facebook, right, Apple, so all these companies are 10x. The reason was at that time they were doing the products which were very relevant. Apple came up with iPhone, Google came up with search, Facebook came up with social media, right? So I think for a company to be 10x, they have to follow the trend that is very up to the time, right? What is the requirement at that specific moment, right? I basically focused mostly on AI. I think AI is going to be the trend setter for next at least 5 years. So any company which is doing AI development and they are doing breakthroughs in that, I think that is going to be a game changer. And those companies have the highest possibility of being 10x or multi-bagger stock, right? What I did was I made sure that those companies are have a base platform fundamentals right for executing on this um, AI buzz, right? So some of them really have a good track record as well, and some are really new, but they are creating products that are very innovative and they will help in the future for optimizing all the processes almost.
I'm curious to know your picks, and who knows, maybe we have some overlap.
So yeah, let's get started with our picks.
Before we start, this is not a recommendation or financial advice. Use your own judgment. Trading is a risk, so make sure that you take advice from a financial expert before making any kind of trades.
Cool.
So, with that disclaimer out of the way, I think Vishal, you are showing the first pick. So, go ahead.
My pick is Adobe. Adobe is a company which is primed to go all the way exponential journey, right? And if you if you see the history, right, in the most challenging year, still their revenue was growing. And if you see, like in 2017, 24% revenue growth, 2018, 24% almost revenue growth. So consistently, their revenue is growing by 24%. So for a company whose operating income is increasing almost 30%, whose revenue is increasing 24% almost on an average, this company with AI development, sky is the limit for this company, I will tell you. So I am very bullish on Adobe. And recently, they also showed a small glimpse of how they are going to disrupt the creative field, right? So if you see Adobe, they introduced Firefly, right? That is a integration with Photoshop. And I will show you a small demo how powerful Firefly is. Uh,
Okay.
so basically, this is the base image. It's a blank uh, desert kind of place, and in the demo, basically, the person is showing there is a settings like three dot button where he's just gonna give some commands to uh, have a generative image.
Let's get started. I've made my selection. I'm going to now do a generative fill. In this case, I'm going to enter in some simple text. Let's put in classic car from the 50s, that it's added a shadow and it's placed the car right on the plane here in the salt flats. Now I want to show you an incredible feature. Check this out. I'm going to make another selection with the lasso tool. And let's type in reflection pool filled with blue water. That sounds great. Wow. Look at that. Incredible here. Look how it's taken the salt flat texture and detail and created a pond within the same texture and detail as the surrounding salt flats.
You just have to imagine things now. Photoshop will be the application where, yeah, people will probably not use filters anymore in photographs. They are basically going to just Photoshop it and it is going to look mesmerizing.
I think it's a good guess. I had also thought about Adobe, but I did not move forward with it. It I don't know. It seemed like too easy. But yes, their generative fill product or demo that you showed, I've also seen it earlier. It looks very very magical. So
Adobe is the company which has the customers and they have the right set of tools. So they are in the perfect position to harness this AI wave,
yeah,
right?
they have an advantage. If they play it right, they should be able to um, leverage this.
So yeah, that was my pick. Ankur, I will like to hear one of your picks now.
Yeah, I'm thinking which one should I choose out of my five picks. My next pick is something related to the AI space as well. So I looked at which are the companies that gets directly or indirectly benefited from the whole AI revolution that's happening. And we know about one company that's getting a lot of attention right now, which is Nvidia. All the GPUs that are used by all these companies leveraging AI, Nvidia GPUs. Obviously, Nvidia is almost a $1 trillion company, so it's already a big tech. So no point in choosing Nvidia. So what I looked for is what are the alternatives or companies in similar space as Nvidia, right? I found a few, and out of them, I selected one which I think is complementary to Nvidia, right? So I think Nvidia needs them for their own chip manufacturing, right? So my next company is this one, Advanced
Okay,
Semiconductor Materials Lithography, ASML.
ASML, awesome.
Have you
I
heard
have.
about this company, Vishal?
So I will be very honest. I have heard about this company. If you go just 11, 12 months back, there was a huge semiconductor shortage, right?
Yeah.
And at that time, I heard about this company, but to be honest, I never went in depth and researched about it. So I'm really excited. What are your thoughts? What does your research say?
Yes. So, what ASML does, right? So, let's first look into that. So, what do they do, right? This is a screenshot from the ASML website. So, what they say they do is we provide chip makers with everything they need: hardware, software, and services to mass produce patterns on silicon through lithography, right? So, now what is lithography? Lithography, if you just translate it into English, it's basically printing, right? So what happens is we all know that the size of the chips over the years have followed Moore's law, right? So amount of transistors you can put on a chip has basically doubled every 2 to 3 years, right? So that means the size of the chips have become smaller, but the amount of transistor or the processing power on each chip has only grown, right? And it has actually grown exponentially. So using lithography, so this is a printing technique in which you use ultraviolet light to print on a chip or a wafer, right? And there are very few companies, very few companies in the world that has that technology mastered. And ASML is basically the, I would say, one of the very few companies which can do that. And ASML basically does it the best. So if you think about mostly any kind of chip that is being manufactured, they are using the machines produced by ASML for printing. So when Nvidia does not manufacture their chips, right? It actually has a contract with TSMC, the Taiwanese based semiconductor manufacturing company, which manufactures the chips for Nvidia. Nvidia just designs them, right? But TSMC has to use ASML's proprietary lithography machines to actually print the chips, right? So not only TSMC, basically any kind of chip manufacturer in the world has to use ASML's technology for printing chips. So we are talking about TSMC, Intel, Samsung. Basically everyone has a dependency on their machines. So that's basically what these guys do. They also have a lot of software related to chip manufacturing, design, printing that they provide. So they kind of have a monopoly in this specific, very important area in chip manufacturing, and that's their biggest moat, right? This company has been in existence for a pretty long time. So this is not like a new company, right? Here are some stats of ASML. So they were founded in the 1980s, 1984 in Netherlands. So this is not a US based company. So it's almost like a 40-year-old company. It is also the most highly valued European tech company. So I was surprised to find out that their market cap is almost $300 billion. As I said, their clients include companies like TSMC, Samsung, Intel, basically the top chip makers in the world. Revenue, if you see the last quarterly financials, $6.75 billion of revenue, great profitability. Income is almost $2 billion out of that. Uh, so yeah, the net profit margin is like almost 30%, right? For a 40-year-old company, you have to kind of understand what kind of monopoly or a moat they have, right? So yeah, so I also didn't know much about ASML, but while researching for alternatives to Nvidia, I found them, and I think this is like one of the best alternatives that you can bet on, uh, aside from like companies like Nvidia. And with all the growth in AI, machine learning, whichever company wins that war in the world, I think lot of the spoils of that eventually go to companies like ASML.
How has the stock price done in past 1.5 year, 2 years?
Yeah, let's look at it. It has done very well. So let me open that up. So yeah, so last, I would say last 5 years, this is the stock movement like. So it was $207 5 years back. So it's almost four times last 5 years. Pretty amazing growth for a 40-year-old company. And it's not super overvalued. It's like P ratio of 39, which I think is pretty fairly valued for a company like ASML, which is going to get benefited with all the AI growth. And if you look at like since the time they have IPO'd, they IPO'd in 1995 at almost like $3, and now they are what's about $700. So what's that like 250x?
250x. I think, yeah, definitely. Um, Very interesting company. I think thank you so much, Ankur, for introducing us to this stock.
All right, Vishal. So, what is your next pick?
Okay, Ankur, the next pick, it is very related to the last episode that we did. And I strongly believe AI is gonna really kickstart the AR VR development.
I
And
think I know which company, but I'll let you reveal it.
okay, I think if you believe AI will be fast tracking this development, there is one company which is primed to be taking benefit from that thing, right? So let me share my screen. So the next company that I have selected is Unity Softwares.
Vishal,
Yes.
Unity is one of my picks as well.
If you want to create VR models, AR models, you basically have to use Unity.
So yeah, so just to like give a like for people who are like not super aware of what Unity does, this company was founded in 2004 in Denmark. Again, a non-US company founded almost 20 years ago. We say that today companies going into AR VR are revolutionary, but like we are talking about 20 years ago. But obviously, when they started, they were not really into AR VR to begin with. They were into game development. Pokemon Go, which Vishal you discussed in the AR VR episode. People who have not listened to it, you can go check it out. It's our last episode that we did. Pokemon Go was actually built on Unity's platform, right? And the interesting thing was they benefited a lot with the whole iPhone growth. Mobile phones slowly became available to everybody, and mobile gaming became very popular. And Unity's platform was used for a lot of the initial mobile game development. That's where they kind of got a lot of traction. Then they got into a lot of AR development. They provided the platform for developing AR, developing VR, and right now they are basically the leading platform for people to develop on AR, VR, mobile, desktop, web, like all those, right? So
The advancements in I strongly believe that AR VR is going to kickstart. And if AR VR is going to kickstart, Unity is the platform that everyone is going to use, and their business is going to see an exponential growth. The company's forecasted earning growth is 41%, and the industry in which it is merely just 20%. However, I think it is undervalued. The market cap of Unity is around 11 billion at this point. The valuation of this company should be far more than 11 billion.
one thing I noticed was like, yeah, like I agree with you. The market cap is $11 billion, which seems quite low for a company of this potential. But I think the reason is that they have been loss making. I don't think they have ever had a profitable quarter so far. And if you look at the net income number here, it's negative $250 million, right? On a revenue of $500 million, which is like a significant loss making company right now. So I think that's what is reflected in the total market cap. So I think if the company becomes profitable or close to profitable, the market cap has a lot of potential to.
So, Ankur, my next pick is AI related, and this company was built for AI only. It's completely end to end an AI company, and the name of the company is C3 AI. C3 AI, basically, this company, it's a pure AI play. This is a SaaS platform. This company provides software as a service. Like when you create models, right? This is the company which will be the marketplace for all the models that we will create. It is going to provide all AI services, right? The way we have today, we have different services provided by different providers, right? When it comes to AI, C3 AI will be the gold standard. And like if you see the financials of this, basically this company, just in this year from Jan, when we talked about the AI boom has started, right? It has grown by 213 percentage, which is almost, I think it's tripled almost, right? So every $10 has become $30 at this point.
This was one of my shortlists.
Oh, really?
And then C3 AI was one of my shortlists. And then I kind of saw a few things which led me to kind of remove it from my shortlist. So, like, one of the things was, yes, it has grown a lot just in this year, but then they just announced their results, and their guidance was actually quite underwhelming,
I
especially
think
given that all the companies are doing so well in AI. So their guidance was underwhelming.
I think
Uh,
the guidance underwhelming is coming from the fact that I think they think that they are lagging behind in AI race. I will tell you.
hmm. Why is that?
The, yeah, because there are like in this couple like if you see 2 quarters, right? Uh, the amount of development that big tech companies have done in AI, it really feels difficult. Like if you are an AI player, right? And these big companies are investing so heavily in AI, you definitely feel overwhelmed with the pressure, right? It creates a lot of pressure for these companies.
Yeah,
But the most biggest advantage that they have is from day one, their focus was on AI,
yeah,
be it provisioning, be it model creation, be it data analytics, be it providing the service on top of AI. Like when you see other big tech companies, they are probably going to integrate AI into their products, right?
yeah,
But this company is, on the other hand, ready to be as a platform for others to leverage software as a service. Like, so they will provide AI models for you to build on top of that. So I think large language models, one study that shows like these large language models are not good enough for all business cases. And there
hmm.
is a huge demand for these large language models to be trained for the specific business use case. And I think like C3 AI can do that, and they can provide you with a specific business use case that you will love to have, right? And they will probably automate all of this in future. So in future, you are going to go to them and you are just going to grab a very specific model. It can be either trained with your data, it can be trained by them and directly provided you as a service. So it is tailor made for the business case, right? So I think C3 AI is going to be a leader in this space, but definitely not in just 1 quarter or 2 quarter. The guidance that you saw is basically showing just couple of quarters from now, right?
Yeah. Did you read about the founder of the company? Founder of this company is Thomas Siebel,
Okay.
and he's the one who started the company called Siebel Systems.
Oh, okay.
If you it might ring a bell.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was actually a CRM company, one of the early CRM companies that was eventually
Yes.
acquired by Oracle. So he
Okay.
used to work at Oracle. He left Oracle and started Siebel Systems, which again got acquired by Oracle for like some crazy amount, like $5 billion in 2005,
Wow.
2005 or six. And then he sold his company and then took a couple of years of break and came back and started C3AI in 2009. So it was actually that time to start a AI company is definitely it's a pioneer, and that was another reason I did not go with C3IA was that Thomas Siebel is almost 70 years old.
Okay.
So he's the founder. I like companies which are run by founders. So it is being run by him, but he's almost at the high end of the age thing, right? So, but yeah, it's an interesting company. I think it will face a lot of competition from like the big players. That's going to be the key. If it can withstand that pressure from big players, then it has a very strong potential, in my opinion. Cool, good pick.
So, Ankur, what is your next pick? I
Yeah.
think I am
Let
very
me see.
curious about this.
Okay, my next pick is not in the AI space. It's in the advertising space, right? So competitors for it is companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon. So it has a very, very tough challenge in front of it. And so far it has actually done very well. So it's a very interesting company in that respect. So let me show you what I picked. So my next pick is the Trade Desk. Very, very interesting company, right? They are not in the AI space. So what do, right? So what the Trade Desk does is they do real-time programmatic marketing automation. So they design, develop, and deliver personalized marketing content to users across all channels. So be it your connected TVs, mobile phones, digital billboards when you walk on the road. So basically all types of digital advertising. So they make advertising more efficient by deciding almost in real time the best ads to show for a customer. Their customers are Netflix, Hulu, Paramount, Spotify, Amazon. So their specialization is in premium content. Recently, Netflix launched the ads-based product, so they will show you ad while you watch movies or TV shows. So that product, that ad is actually served through the Trade Desk, right? Hulu always used to have that ad-based product, so that is served through the Trade Desk. Paramount, Spotify, so all the big players into the premium content, they use under the hood, they use the Trade Desk ad serving technology for like auctioning of ads and selecting which is the best ad to show for what user, right? So an area that can generate a lot of money if you can do efficient selection and serving of ads, right? But obviously it's also an area which has big players like Google and Facebook ads. So it has a very, very strong competition from these players, but it has actually done extremely well. So let me show you some of the stats for the Trade Desk. So again, founded in 2009. It's a US based company. As I said, competitors are Google ads and Facebook ads. Market cap right now is about $36 billion. They have about 5,000 clients. So these are clients actually who basically buy ads, right? And the growth of the company has been tremendous. Uh, if I just look at the stock growth, right? In the last, 7 years, 6 to 7 years, since its IPO, it has grown 25x. So crazy amount of growth. The Again, it's a founder led company. I think the founder, I think his name is Jeff Green. He was most of his career has been in the ad tech space. So he started a ad tech company, then worked at, which was bought by Microsoft. Then he worked at Microsoft for a few years, then left Microsoft to start the Trade Desk, right? So yeah, so this is my pick on the ad tech space.
So how does this company source data to show these ads, right? What is the, like, how do you get the user context, or what is the platform that they use for that? Do you know that?
I don't know exactly like the way in which it gets the data, but I know that with the whole Apple
Yeah.
not allowing you to track,
Hmm.
which creates a lot of challenges for the advertising companies. Like Facebook had a major headwind because of that, and
Yeah.
then Google is going to stop remove the cookies starting
Yeah.
2024. So that's also going to be another challenge for advertisers, right? So to kind of work around those challenges, they have started a new program called Galileo, in
Okay.
which like all the companies like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, they can actually start storing the customer related data that can be used for advertising. So they're providing a platform in which you can basically store and manage all that customer data, and then you can use that for serving better ads in the future, right? So that platform is something that these guys are providing to all of
Provide.
their customers. So I think it,
Okay.
it basically helps everybody who is on the platform eventually for serving better ads. So I think that's a very smart move by the company to kind of counter the challenges that they are facing from Google and Facebook. Their customer retention rate is also extremely high. So since they started, their customer retention rate has been 97%. So 97% of the customers that have used their services and their platform have stayed on to continue to use it, right? So that speaks volumes about the service that they provide. um, I think this is an interesting company. Advertising will only grow. Like we are seeing that a lot of the companies are uh, choosing the ad model. More and more content is getting created, so either through independent content creators like you and me, or through large companies like Netflix or various Hollywood movie making firms. They're all creating content, and we are consuming more content. So there will be more opportunity to serve advertisements to people. So this is only going to grow. This business is only going to grow, right? So with AI coming in, AI generated content is also going to grow. So eventually, I think companies like the Trade Desk are going to who are going to help make advertisement more efficient, are only going to benefit from all that disruption that's happening. What's your next pick?
Okay, Ankur, my next pick. This company is into process automation, like robotic process automation, RPA. And again, it's very close to where we live. So the name of the company is UiPath. So basically, what UiPath does
They have an
is,
office in Bellevue.
yes, yeah, they are very close, right?
Yeah,
Uh, so what this company do is basically anything that is manual, right? Like as simple as creating a report, right? A user can probably just do his actions by starting this RPA. They call it robotics process automation, right? I will give you a simple example. Let's say whenever you get an email from a customer, you want to reply it saying, "Hey, we are looking into this issue," right?
yeah.
As soon as the email comes, you can write an automation to reply to the customer automatically, right? Um, and many people consider this like with the generative AI, people will go into generative AI to do this process. They will not go to UiPath. Actually, it's the other way around, I will tell you. With the current AI developments, UiPath is going to use that to make its processes more automate in a better, faster, efficient way. Like right now, let's say there was this email reply was a static message, right? Now we can use the AI to read the message that the customer has sent, form the context of it, and reply according to the context. So
So
the
what do
customer,
they do all types of automation or just like email based
no,
automation?
they do all type of automations. And
Okay.
anything that can be done by a user on the computer, right?
Okay.
You have to instruct. It's kind of a robot on your machine. Like
Okay.
how we have robots, physical robots. Think of as a software as a robot, right? So they have a platform where you train that robot, like what you are doing on the screen, you record your screen, and it will start creating a code, a workflow in a model, right? You see that model, you can tweak it, you can parameterize that model, right? Um,
Got
and
it.
basically, I think many people think with AI development, people will not use AI path, they will use AI. But I believe that actually AI is gonna help UI path to accelerate. Ankur, what is your next pick?
Cool. My next pick is a company which I think was the most talked about company during the pandemic. It was probably also the most used product during the pandemic. And I personally love using their product. So here it is. My next pick is Zoom.
Wow.
So yeah, Zoom communications, I think everybody knows about it. Became very, very popular with the start of pandemic. Actually was extremely important during the pandemic when we all were suddenly forced into our homes and we had to connect to work. And Zoom, for folks who did not have any kind of conferencing or web conferencing software, was super, super important and essential. And it helped the company a lot during the pandemic to gain traction, acquire a lot of customers. The company grew exponentially, the stock grew exponentially as well. Um, so what do they do? I think everybody knows communication software, but they are transitioning to become one platform to collaborate, right? So I think during the pandemic, it was a great way for them to acquire customers through virtual meetings. But then obviously, what's next, right? How does the stock grow? So the company is slowly trying to transition itself into becoming a platform where you don't just use it for virtual meetings, but use it for many other things that you need to do in a company, like chat, using a phone system, collaborating using a whiteboard, bringing some type of intelligence so that you can analyze the conversation or the meetings that you are having, doing email, scheduling meetings, and then obviously like doing things like events, like mass webinars, events, etc. So Zoom wants to become that one platform to do all types of collaboration, right? So that's the move that they are after. So this was founded in 2011 by Eric Yuan, who was originally from China, and he has a very interesting story. So apparently, like when he was just starting out his career, he had to like travel hours to meet his girlfriend, and that's when he started developing a web conferencing software so that he could connect to his girlfriend at that time and talk to her. So this guy has been working on this area, this particular technology for like decades, right? Since the beginning of his career. He worked for a company called WebEx, which was acquired by Cisco. And Cisco WebEx, a lot of us may be aware of, like that was their video conferencing software. He proposed the idea of doing video conferencing over mobile, because like mobile phones were picking up during that time, and it was rejected by Cisco. And that's when he left Cisco, because he was very passionate about this idea and wanted to implement it, and started Zoom. Yeah, and the rest is basically history, right? With pandemic hit, this company just became a huge success. So market cap is about $20 billion. Lot of customers, almost like 216,000 enterprise customers, right? So these are actually customers who pay to use your services. Revenue has been strong, but the net income seems to be down, almost like more than 80%. I think most of it because a lot of people started using Zoom and paying for Zoom during the pandemic. But then once the company started calling them back and they had to go back to work, there was no need for like those customers to continue using Zoom. So I guess like they have lost a lot of those customers. So that's why the net profitability has gone down. But overall, I think remote work is the future, right? So if I talk about like 5 years, 10 years, the way we work is going to completely transform, and it will happen uh, with the support of companies like Zoom, right? And I did some digging into the one platform that they are talking about, and that seemed quite promising to me. Like what all different things you can build on top of their basic Zoom meetings, right? So we, like, for example, I spend almost like 50% of my time in meetings on average every day. So that's like 4 to 5 hours every day over Zoom. That's a lot of attention span that Zoom is getting. 5 hours of somebody's time is a lot of time. Like we don't spend that kind of time on any other platform. Not Netflix, not Facebook, not Instagram. Well, maybe some of us spend 5 hours on Instagram, but usually, like, generally we don't, right? So that's a lot of time on a particular platform, and there there is so much Zoom can do using that time that we spend on the platform. So yeah, I am super bullish on Zoom and all the potential that it has with all the growth that's happening.
So what, I have two questions on this, Ankur. One
Yeah,
is, I think we have seen Zoom going to the moon and coming back, right?
yeah,
Stock price wise, right? So I I'm very surprised. Yeah, see, like it is almost at the pre-pandemic level at this point, right?
yeah. So Zoom IPO'd in April of 2019 at $62, and now it is at $67. So it's
Yeah,
basically back to its IPO price.
IPO
It,
price, right?
it went up
And
to 559. Wow. And it's almost like down 90%. Yeah.
so it was 10 bagger in just 2 years, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, then it was again, yeah, it lost all the gains in
Yeah.
next 2 years, right? So my biggest concern with Zoom is, because we have seen that kind of growth, right? Usually, what happens is, if you get burned by a stock like that, it is very hard to get into that, right? It is very hard for that stock to go back to its peak, right? That is one concern. The other concern that I have is, when you said you, like, someone is spending 5 hours on the platform, right? Uh, Basically, anytime the user is using their service, it's an operational cost on them, right?
Yeah.
And they don't, I don't think they charge by minute.
No, they
They,
don't. They have
yeah,
a yearly license.
yes, right. So basically, if you correlate this to gym, like going to gym kind of, right? So gym usually gives you a membership. They try to have you like one whole year membership, right? Because they know the usage of this person is going to decrease over time, and they pretty much know that for first 15 days people are going to use gym, and after that they are not going to use it, right? And that's how they make money, right? Because you are motivated, you are ready, and then they give you a brilliant offer for 1 year.
Yeah.
On the Zoom, it is on the other side, right? If Zoom is giving you a license for 1 year, people are going, like, if you are doing one meeting and you get more comfortable, you're going to do two, three, four, 5 meetings a day, right? And it is going to eat into their operational cost.
I
Like,
think that may not be the way I look at it. For the way I look at it is like the more you use, the more used to you become of the product, right? So it becomes more sticky. It becomes more difficult for you to now
move
not
away.
use Zoom, right? It's the
Yes.
same with like things like Slack, right? Slack does not charge you for the number of messages that you send. But if you ask somebody who uses Slack, they will say that they cannot live without it, right? So it is about like your usage, how sticky the whole experience is, right? um, and then you can keep selling add-ons once your customers are, they love your product, they're used to it, then you can sell a bunch of add-ons on top of it. So for Zoom also has a similar pricing model, right? So you can get the Zoom one, which has a particular per year or per month pricing. Now they can sell multiple things on top of it, which they do today. So they sell the whiteboard product that I showed. That's like additional cost. You want to do a webinar with your entire company, you want to host some kind of events, those are like additional cost on top of it. You want to do some kind of intelligence, you want to apply AI. Let's say like we have discussed things like having a meeting and then AI taking notes for that meeting and finding out action items. All that has to be done manually today.
Yeah.
Zoom is the platform where you are doing all this, right? So by default, if it wants, it can run a bunch of intelligence and use AI to do all those things for you, right? So that way I feel like the whatever time we are spending on Zoom, the attention that they get, there's a huge potential there, right? And I think most companies don't mind paying whatever is their yearly license
Mhm.
fee, because you are actually saving so much money by
Yeah.
not renting out the office space, that this is basically nothing for you to spend on, right?
Yes.
So they also have a pricing power.
Okay. They have.
And what I'm really impressed by Zoom is their the quality of their product, right?
Hmm.
So Zoom, the product is not really a unique product if you think about it, right? This has been there for a long time, like Skype, Viber, all these products we have used in the past. But
Yes.
why did Zoom become so popular during pandemic? And then the big players like Google has the Google Meet, uh, Microsoft has the Teams. But why did Zoom become so popular, right? So it has like they have a very good quality of
Yeah.
product. So their product, I would say, is very minimal, but it does the job that it is meant to do very well. So which is
Yeah.
like just talking or like showing your video, um, with very good quality. So yeah, I think they have a lot of things that they can do. There is a lot of potential. Execution is going to be the key for them.
Yeah.
So the platform that they are talking about, the faster that they can build it and gain traction, is going to be super key for them. Otherwise, big players
They.
uh, like Microsoft, Google, which already have many other products for collaboration, might take the share away from them. So execution is going to be very key for them.
So my next pick is. So Ankur, what is your next pick?
Okay, my next pick is a company that I think benefits from any kind of development in software, right?
Hmm.
So they make technology under the hood that your software, basically any company that leverages technology, ideally needs to run their systems efficiently in production. My pick is Datadog.
Okay. Nice.
uh,
I I
well,
am okay. Let me tell you something, right? I have seen this company from I think 2019 onwards, right? I think they IPO'd around that time, maybe a year before that. Uh,
yeah,
and this company, I will tell you, it's one of my favorites.
nice.
So yeah, even though it is not on my list, but I think you have, yeah, I think you have hit the nail in the perfect spot, right? So okay, I'm cool. Very interested to know more about this. Let's talk about it, Ankur.
Yeah, so Datadog, what do they do? They are into observability service for cloud scale application. So what is observability? So if you are running a production application and you want to know how is your application performing in the wild, are things up and running well or are things degraded, we whenever we run applications in production, we always want to know that, right? So Datadog basically provides you all kinds of tools, services, products, solutions, whatever you want to call it, to make sure that you know when your services in production are running, they're running well. And if they're not running well, then you get alerted and you can basically monitor their health, etc. Right? So It's a service that is required by basically any industry that you talk about that is using software, and that has applications running in production, right? So growth of software, growth of technology will indirectly or directly benefit the growth of Datadog or any kind of company which provides similar solutions as Datadog, right? they they what they do is they basically collect logs of your software and your applications, and they basically read those logs and can generate insights. You can build dashboards using that. You can, if something, you can know whether something is degraded. You can page your engineers so that they can wake up and then they can start fixing if there are any problems. They basically have they can basically instrument your entire software development, release, and production monitoring process, right? So the service that they provide is extremely valuable and can directly impact your revenue and profits. So they also have a very high pricing power. So I have worked for many companies that use Datadog. I know many companies that use Datadog, and in the recent years, I would say they have become like the number one choice for any kind of observability services that you want to have. Right? There is really no other company that is a strong competition to them. So they have kind of a strong monopoly in today's market. Yeah, this company again, not a very old company, only 13 years old. Again, founder run, which I love, has a market cap of $30 billion, which I think is, even though the price to earnings ratio is not great because the company does not make any profit, but I think the total market cap is very low right now. There is a lot of potential for it to go significantly up. AI, the growth in AI that's happening, the disruption through AI that's happening, that can be leveraged significantly by a company like Datadog, because you have all the application logs and the data that your software is generating, and you can really build a number of solutions using that data that you have, right? Data is everything, end of the day, and Datadog has the platform where it can really leverage data and add a lot of value to its customers. So so yeah, so Datadog, I think is poised to really benefit a lot from the whole AI revolution, growth in technology over the next 5 to 10 years.
And yeah, I will definitely agree on this, Ankur. No questions, to be honest. And I think it's a very good pick, really good pick. So, does it have the power to be 10x? Let's talk on that. What
Mm,
is its current valuation? What are its current earnings and revenue? And
yeah,
when you say 10x, that means you are thinking of this company to be 300 billion.
yeah. So right now, I think Datadog is about $95. It was about $200 during the peak, which like I think a lot of companies were. It it has approximately 3x since it listed in 2019. So we are talking about what, 3.5 years. It has 3x. Does it have the potential? I think so. Definitely, I think 3x is possible. With Let's look at. Okay, so this is the Datadog website, right? So we usually like associate Datadog with monitoring, but just look at the amount of like product offerings that they have. Like infrastructure related monitoring is one, log related management, sensitive data scanner. There are just like multiple companies which just do this specific one thing, sensitive data scanning, right? To make sure that you are not leaking any kind of personally identifiable information in your logs, and they'll basically flag it. There are multiple startups that just do this one. So Datadog has those products. There is obviously like their main product, which is like APM, application performance monitoring, that they have. You can do like continuous profiling, DB monitoring, which is a big challenge, I know, in like a lot of companies, right? There are a lot of DB outages that happening, so monitoring databases is super important. Then you have, again, multiple startups which are just doing this security space monitoring, right? Application vulnerability management, security management, security management. Um you have a lot of services that they provide using synthetics, so testing, uh, continuous integration, visibility. So what's the state of your whole continuous integration infrastructure? Continuous testing, right? So testing in production is extremely valuable. But there are not like lot of services available to perform testing in production well. So Datadog provides that for you. So I think once a company starts using Datadog services, there are a bunch of other things that Datadog can offer, like build on top of it, right? And it becomes very like seamless for you to like use Datadog for those other things as well. Like one important thing that I didn't mention was like the whole like incident management process, right? PagerDuty is a publicly listed company that like the only thing that they do is like let you page somebody when something is not working in production, so that somebody wakes up and like fixes the problem, right? It fits, that use case fits very well with the whole monitoring that Datadog provides, right? So it naturally becomes like another product offering that Datadog can provide, right? So now why would you want to have PagerDuty as well as Datadog? You can just have one solution in Datadog that solves all that for you. And so there is, I think there is a Datadog has a lot of potential to like sell all this developer experience improvement related products to you. And developers are a very expensive commodity for companies, and if we can use these tools to improve developer productivity, it's going to be a no brainer for like using their services. So that's why I feel like there is a like not 10x, I would even say like 20x or even more than that for Datadog, if they can execute well.
Cool. Yeah, you sold me on this. Awesome. I bought it. Cool.
Awesome. So you have your last pick left, or how many do you have left?
Last one is remaining. Yeah. I will do it. I will do it quick.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Vishal.
Cool. My next pick, Ankur, is it's one of the old companies, old tech companies.
Right.
And yeah, this is one of the companies who were thinking about AI when nobody else was thinking.
Hmm.
And they have made tremendous progress in AI. They were thinking about AI like long before any other company was thinking. And one of their most famous product name was Watson.
I know what company is that.
So this company, yeah, it's very old and it's IBM. So
Wow, this is I never expected you to pick this one. This is
okay,
this is a very interesting pick. Go ahead.
I will tell you why IBM at this point, right?
Yeah.
IBM currently its market cap is $117 billion.
Hmm.
IBM is not only in one space of technology. They have IBM Cloud. They have bunch of like they were initially like big players in hardware as well. Now they are providing cloud services. Their AI is very powerful, I will say. They were thinking about AI when nobody else was thinking, right? And if you see there is so when you say multi-bagger, right? Cumulatively, you should be a multi-bagger, right? Cumulative means see the dividend yield of this stock. It is 5.11%. Even if you
Yeah.
put even if you put a CD today on your money, you don't get 5% easily. So with this stock, every year you are getting 5% dividend. That means every year in next 10 years, let's say we talk about 10 years, right? Your stock purchase price itself will be half almost,
Yeah.
right? Because you will keep on getting the money. I don't know if someone chooses to reinvest it or keep it for itself. Your stock purchase price, let's say you are paying $129 today, right? After multiple dividends that you get, you will probably your cost price will become $80 or something. On the other hand, the AI development that this company is going to provide, now they will see the power of monetizing what they have done from last 1 decade. And once they start monetizing it, I think this company is primed to be at least 5x or 4x easily. So I'm not talking
I
here
hope
about definitely a 10 bagger here,
I
but
hope
definitely.
people from IBM are listening. They might hire you as their spokesperson. It
Yeah,
is an interesting
definitely.
pick. Their P ratio is 69. How is that possible? They're overvalued, it feels like.
I
Uh,
think it is. That's what I said, right? They are not monetizing all the things that they have built in last 1 decade. It was probably the earnings was down, right? Because they were investing everything in the development,
yeah.
and now is the time for them to like reap the benefits of what they have done in last 1 decade. And this decade, in like 10 years from now, this is the time where they are going to reap a lot of benefits from all the AI developments that they have done.
What is
Different.
Watson? I keep hearing about Watson, but yeah, you are right,
So,
Watson. But what is it? I don't see any like anything.
okay. So let me tell you, right? Before this generative AI thing came in, right? People were trying to build intelligence, human intelligence, in a way how a robot should do. So they used to do softwares for a robot so that that robot can think and do activities in physical world. They have done a lot of investments in AI and for cloud, right? They have kept on investing a lot of money in that, but I think it is going to turn around now. This is the turning point for them, and if they execute well, they can really reap the benefits of this AI wind.
Okay,
Um,
let's hope IBM does it. That would be the best pick if IBM becomes a 10 bagger. That will be the best
and
pick.
I'm like I'm setting the
In my
expectation here, right?
wildest dreams, I never thought that you will pick IBM.
No, I'm being very honest here, right? This pick is not at all a 10 bagger, I will say, right?
Okay.
But it's a multi bagger pick.
Yeah, even if it is like a 2 3x, that itself would be a huge deal, I think.
I'm
But
I'm
it's a
thinking
contrarian pick, I would say, right? Like
I'm
you,
thinking of this as a 4x, right? The reason for that is you have to factor in the dividend that the cost price will go down, right? So
yeah.
if the cost price is going down year by year, uh, I think you can easily make 4x in next 4 years.
All right, that's all. That's all of our picks, right?
Yes, yeah, I think with that, we have completed all the picks that we wanted to show you. And
All right,
Ankur,
so let's recap. So my picks were ASML, Advanced Semiconductor Materials Lithography. It's a lithography based chip manufacturing company. Then I had the Trade Desk, the ad tech company. Then I had Zoom as one of my picks. Then we had Unity Software. Both you and me had picked Unity Software, company that helps in game development, AR, VR, etc. development. And then my final pick was Datadog, the observability software. What were your picks, Vishal?
my picks were Adobe,
Yeah,
Unity, C3 AI, UiPath, and IBM.
awesome.
I hope we are at least 50% correct. I will be really happy. Yeah, even if we are 50% correct in this, but to be honest, a couple of picks that we discussed today. Even they were new to me. I learned a lot about them. Um, yes. What do you think?
In my research for these companies, it was a great exercise learning about some of these, and it takes a lot of time to like really do thorough research. I really enjoyed doing the research and then hearing your takeaways for your selections, your picks. I was hoping that we will have more overlap, but we had at least one. Yeah, good discussion.
Yeah. With that, let's meet in the next episode.
All right.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone.